Today we will be showing you how to install Boost Auto Parts GM on Dodge Style 2 tow mirrors onto your 2019 and newer Ram 2500 and 3500 truck. At the time of filming this video, this procedure applies to 2019 to 2022 2500 and 3500 Ram trucks. Please reference a separate Boost Auto Parts video if you are upgrading from manually folding mirrors to power folding mirrors. For exact fitment, please visit our website at boostautoparts.com. Start by using a trim tool to remove this triangle trim panel. With a trim tool, pry up on the window and mirror switch. Make sure to pry up just on the switch and leave the surrounding trim in the door panel. Unplug the connector from the back of the window and mirror switch by pressing down on the tab and pulling straight back. With a pick, remove the trim panel behind the door handle. Unscrew the Phillips head screw from behind the door handle. Open the door handle and use a trim tool to pry on the front of the door handle trim cover to remove it. Unplug the connectors on the back of the door handle trim cover. Unscrew the 6 T20 Torx screws from around the door panel. You may want to use a pick behind the head of the screw to help back it out. Once unscrewed, use a pick to remove the inner trim clip. Once the trim clips are all removed, pull up then out on the door panel to disengage it from the door. Unplug the connector on the back of the door panel by the door handle opening by pulling up on the red locking tab, then pressing down on the tab and pulling straight back. Unplug the connector on the door behind the door harness. Fully remove the door panel from the door. Locate the door module above the speaker. This is where the mirror connectors and harness are plugged into. Unplug the mirror connectors from the door module. Undo the mirror trim clip holding the mirror harness to the door. Undo the tape holding the mirror harness to the trim clip. You may or may not have this support bracket bolted to the inside of the door. If you do not have this, most customers have found it is not needed as it just adds additional support. While supporting the mirror, unscrew the 3 10mm mounting nuts that hold the mirror to the door. Remove the mirror from the truck. Taking your new Boost Auto Parts tow mirrors, run the wiring harness through the door, making sure not to pinch any wires. Screw in the 3 10mm mounting nuts that hold the mirror into place. Plug in the connectors for the mirror into the door module. They can only go into one slot. You may or may not have the green connector. If you have power fold mirrors, make sure this black 4-pin connector remains plugged in. Tape the mirror harness to the trim clip. Repeat this procedure for the passenger side. If you purchase signal-only mirrors, or if you originally had running lights on your mirrors, please disregard this next portion of the video showing how to run the running light wire. Reinstall your door panels as your installation is now complete. Plug in the connectors for the orange running light wire extension harness. Locate the door harness door retaining plate. Unscrew the 2 T20 Torx screws holding in the retaining plate. Undo the weather stripping and move the door harness retaining plate. Locate the door harness cab side connector retainer in the door jamb. Either use your hand or a trim tool to release the 4 clips holding the connector retainer. There are 2 clips on the top and 2 clips on the bottom. Undo the door harness retaining plate from the door, slightly close the door, and remove the door jamb connector retainer from the cab. Unplug the 2 connectors from the door jamb connector retainer. Undo the weather stripping and pull the door harness through to the door side. Remove the tape from the door harness retainer. With a trim tool, undo the 2 clips holding the plastic door harness retainer in place. Taking the orange running light wire, pull it through the plastic door harness retainer. With a sturdy piece of metal, in this case a straightened out coat hanger, run it through the center of the connector retainer, through the door jamb boot to the door harness retainer. Be sure not to catch any wires when running it through. Tape the end of the orange running light wire to the end of the sturdy piece of metal. Pull the sturdy piece of metal with the wire attached back through the door jamb boot and the connector retainer. Untape the wire from the sturdy piece of metal. Reinstall the plastic door harness retainer. Put the door harness with the running light wire back through the weather stripping to the door jamb area. Plug in the door jamb connectors. With a trim tool, remove the door sill kick panel. Locate this trim clip inside the cab to the left of the parking brake. Undo this trim clip with a trim tool. Feed the orange running light wire through the opening in the door jamb on the cab. Locate the opening behind the insulation and pull the wire through into the cab of the vehicle. Retape the plastic retainer. Reinstall the connector retainer back into the cab of the vehicle. You may need to slightly close the door in order to do so. Screw in the two T20 Torx bits for the door harness retainer. Reinstall the weather stripping. Complete this process on the passenger side. The procedure is the same. On the passenger side, undo these 3 trim clips holding the footwell trim panel in place. Locate this opening in the center console area of the truck to the right of the accelerator pedal. Taking a sturdy piece of metal, run it through this opening from the driver's side to the passenger side. Tape the passenger orange running light wire to the sturdy piece of metal. Pull the sturdy piece of metal and wire back through to the driver's side. Untape the wire. Reinstall the trim panel with the 3 trim clips back into place above the passenger side footwell. Run the passenger side running light wire to the driver's side above the hood release cable. Cut the passenger and driver's side running light wires to length. Keep the cutoff end of the wire for the driver's side. Here we are splicing the driver's side and passenger side orange running light wires together. We are using a butt connector as shown here, however you may use your preferred method of splicing. Once spliced together, we used a cut length of running light wire on the other side of the splice long enough to reach the underhood fuse box. Taking a sturdy piece of metal, run it through this grommet in the firewall to the left of the steering column. Tape the end of the orange running light wire to the sturdy piece of metal. Pull the sturdy piece of metal through into the engine bay to the underhood fuse box. Untape the wire from the piece of metal. Cut the wire to the length of the fuse box. Strip the end of the orange running light wire. Crimp the fuse tab to the stripped end of the orange running light wire. Locate and remove fuse 79 from the underhood fuse box. This would be the fuse that will be tapped to for the running light. Place the removed fuse in the bottom slot of the fuse tab. Install the fuse tab back into slot number 79. Close the underhood fuse box. Reinstall the door sill kick panel. Plug in the 2-pin connector from the door panel back into the door. Plug in the gray connector by the door handle opening. Make sure to close the connector lock. Making sure to pull the window switch through the door panel and being mindful of the door lock lever, reinstall the door panel onto the door. Plug in the 2 connectors into the back of the door handle trim cover. Open the door handle and reinstall the door handle trim cover. Screw in the Phillips head screw behind the door handle. Reinstall the trim panel behind the door handle. Plug in the window and mirror switch connector into the back of the window and mirror switch. Reinstall the window and mirror switch into the door panel. Insert the 6 inner trim clips around the door panel and screw in the 6 T20 screws. Press the triangle trim cover back into place. If your original mirrors did not have turn signals or puddle lamps, sales codes will need to be enabled. You can go to your local dealer or reference a separate Boost Auto Parts video. Just like that, your installation of your new Boost Auto Parts GM on Dodge Style 2 tow mirrors is complete. To get all the parts shown in this video, please visit our website at boostautoparts.com. Boost Auto Parts offers a wide range of tow mirrors, parts, and accessories for trucks and SUVs. Check us out at boostautoparts.com.